subject matter today. Are you guys ready? It's nice and juicy and fun. Do you believe in aliens and UFOs? I'd love to hear from you. So stay tuned and let me know what your thoughts are. Now, listen, you're going to love some of the interviews. They were pretty interesting, and some of the comments. And you're also going to hear what I have to say about believing in UFOs and aliens. Do I or do I not? You won't know unless you stay tuned. So welcome to Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. I'm so excited you're here. Let's get started with some of the interviews from my Blog Talk radio show. Hey, do you believe in aliens and UFOs, and why or why don't you believe? Did you have an encounter? Did you hear of a story? Do you remember something happening when you were a child or as a grown-up?
You know, there's so many articles and videos and, stories out there, and now the military is coming up with videos and showing that they've actually seen something. And the crazy thing is that at one point, as you know, in our country, around this world, they were always trying to keep hush-hush this thing when we talk about the subject matter. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. So we're going to take a call right now, and then don't forget, get ready to call in right after this caller, 516-453-9217. Let's get started, you guys. Well, let me say hi to my first caller. Hey, how you doing? You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I can't complain.
Okay, well, listen. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Derek calling from Atlanta, Georgia. D. Jones.
Okay, D. Jones from Atlanta, Georgia. Derek, listen, I have to say, this is my son-in-law, so I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. You guys got a chance to see him on one of my shows, so it's going to be interesting. Derek, tell me, do you believe in aliens and UFOs, and why?
I think that, I do believe in, just other, beings and, other things, beyond us. It's just a lot of, untold stories and plus told stories about, UFOs and aliens and stuff like that. But seeing is believing. I've heard stories from some of my good friends that say that they've seen things. Trustworthy. Real trustworthy.
Okay.
They solid 150. So with that being said, me myself, I have never seen nothing, that looked, out of the ordinary, but I just read into things and I study things. So with me looking into stuff, it just seems like it's more than meets the eye. It's more than out here than just us. A lot of secrets that's untold. You know what I mean?
I agree. Why do you think that they try to keep things like that secret from us? I believe that at one point it might have been because they thought we couldn't handle it, but all the movies and all the real, articles and all the fake articles and pictures and things that you've seen, but we're not going to talk about the fake ones. We're going to talk about things that look authentic, that they have no explanation for, of, unidentified flying objects in the air, or, certain things that, like I said, the military have picked up lately. Why do you think that they try to still keep this hush-hush? Because I understand in other countries, they've actually come up with allowing people to see some of the files that have been secret in their countries for so long. So what's going on with America? Why can't we do that too? I really want to know what's going on, don't you?
I really want to know too. I just think America is one of those countries that just try to go everything by a certain book, just try to look at everything in a certain perspective. They try to program our minds in certain directions, so we only, move this way. It's like sheep. You know what I mean? You got a sheep, you got sheep, you got herders. So they just want to herd you this way and that way and the third. But now I think they're coming to the realization that, we as people, we're open-minded beings. Like, we have our own thoughts and our own, things that we can manifest in our mind. Plus the spirit, that's within us lets us know that, what is and what ain't, what's real and what's not real. So at the end of the day, I think they're just trying to hold it from us because they think some people ain't ready for it. But with technology and everything that's going on, you got to look at the whole world. You got to look at the time that we living in. You got to look at the time before us, our grandparents, they parents. You know what I mean? Like, it's only so much you can handle at a time. But look how things have evolved. You know what I mean? Within the last 100 years, it's just not by coincidence. Like, you just don't have all these people, oh, let's make this, let's make that, let's make this. You know what I mean? So it got to be something other than us, that's bigger than us, that puts a lot of this stuff into play. And so that's just what I think about it. And I don't want to take up all your time, but you go ahead and get to the next caller, Mama.
Well, thank you for sharing with me. You know, I appreciate it because, you know, a lot of times people are afraid to talk about that subject because you think that your friends or your family are going to judge you because you think a certain way, you know, IFC. Especially if you believe.
IFC, though. Yeah, IFC. Me. Yep. So I'm going to let you go. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead
thank
and
you. I appreciate you. Awesome. Thank you so much for calling in. We do have another caller on the line, and we're going to take that call. I'm excited, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see who we have calling now. Just one moment. Hey, welcome to Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. You're on the air.
Oh snap.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. You sounded excited. I love it. I love when someone's excited when they call in.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's your name?
Oh, great.
Okay, do you want, you know, hi? Do you, if you want to say your name, you can. If you don't want to say your name, you don't have to. It's your choice.
Yeah, I'm not going to say my name.
Okay, well, Mr. Anonymous Caller, let me ask you something. What's your thoughts? Do you believe that aliens are real and that UFOs are real? What's your feelings on this?
Oh, yeah. UFOs, aliens, they're all real. Definitely.
Okay, well, how do you know?
Definitely. Look, man.
Did you have an encounter? What happened?
No, but there's given proof that people have had encounters, and I'm telling you right now, there is no way that certain things cannot be explained by humans. I'm telling you right now. Like the pyramids.
I agree.
Do you really think that the slaves built the pyramids? As perfect as the pyramids are, do you really think the slaves built the pyramids?
Well, I believe that they built the pyramids, but are you saying that they might have had some outside influence on how to build the pyramids? Because there is some mystery behind, like, how did everything get so perfect, or even not only just with the pyramids, but so many things that are in history that says, you know, like Easter Island or whatever, like trying to figure out how things were moved and how things were made. And a lot of people believe that ancient aliens visited people way back in the day, just like that TV show is called, and they may have given them the knowledge as to how to do the technologies, even down to the Mayan Indians. Some people believe that they may have had encounters with aliens or people from another, or beings from another planet. So I see where you're coming from with that. So what would you do if you actually saw an alien or saw a UFO?
Run. I would scream, run, kick. I would try to escape as soon as possible.
Oh, my God. Okay, but why?
Because who knows what it – I mean, hey, if they're not here every day, who knows what they want on this day?
Well,
I mean, I don't know,
true,
man.
but how do you know they haven't been here other days, and how do you know they're going to be – I mean, why do you think you'd be afraid? Because, you know, there are certain movies, let's say, that make you afraid of aliens, and then there are other movies that make you feel like they might be cuddly and nice, like E.T. or you know, or something like Close Encounters, some of the old school videos for with aliens back in the day. Now then we got the other ones like Alien and Predator. Those are not too
like
friendly.
Predator,
but
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
one of my favorite movies. I love the special effects.
When you put it like that, I think I'll wait for its response. But what I'm saying, what if its response is too fast? Next, you know, I'm getting sucked by octopus, alien hybrid. I don't know.
That's funny.
And
you
got to know if
there's
only one type of alien. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's so true. That's so true because we
everyone.
have a vast
universe. I think when someone thinks of an alien, everyone has their own, you know, interpretation of an alien. I think everyone has a different idea of it. Like when I think of Alien, like you were saying, I think about the monster. I mean, not the monster. You know what I'm saying? Off the movies. I think like that. Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one cool thing about being a writer or, creative person is that if you were going to make a movie about aliens, you're going to use your imagination and you're going to create something that's going to either scare us or make us love it. So, and they've done that in a lot of great movies. But if we were to really have an encounter, guys that's listening in, call 516-453-9217. Do you think it would be a peaceful encounter or do you think it would be hostile? What's your thoughts? And I am going to share with you guys my story in just a little bit, but I'm going to take a couple more callers before I do that. So stay tuned so you'll know what's going on. Don't forget to share right now with your friends on Facebook. Let them know that we're live on the air on Blog Talk Radio. And I want to hear their opinions. Tell them, call me. Say, Rhonda wants to hear you. Real Talk with Rhonda. Let's see what's going on. Now, young man, I really appreciate you calling, and thank you for your opinion. I value it. And you're very funny, too, by the way. And so stay tuned. Go ahead and share with us some. Oh, you get it from your father?
Yeah.
Not your mom, huh? You know your mom.
No, definitely not my mom.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, and please stay tuned, and don't forget to check out our show on this week when the video comes out as well, okay, on Facebook and on YouTube, Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. You have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Now, with the subject matter, I do want to say this. Throughout my life, from a kid up until my adult life, I've seen things in the sky that I cannot explain, but I was always peaceful about it because I'm used to seeing things. So I would see stuff and I'm going, okay, don't know what that object is, but no, it shouldn't be there. But I was never afraid of, something happening or just had a peace about it. It's almost like it was something I was used to. And like I said, even as a child, I did see something in the sky. I was standing on my bed looking out my window, and I saw something hovering over the fence that was in our backyard and with lights going around. And I remember telling my parents about it, and I also remember that same evening that it was on the news that other people had saw something in the area too. So I know I wasn't crazy and imagining things as a kid, but again, always would see things, and then I had an encounter. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. I know you guys want to hear it. But first, I want to hear your story. 516-453-9217. Come on, give me a call. Let me know what's going on out there. While I'm waiting on my next caller, I also want to talk about the fact that, I'm Christian, and I certainly believe in God. But there are certain people that think that we're the only beings that God created. What's your thoughts on that? Because my opinion personally, I'm no expert at this, but I would say I couldn't see that a God who created a mass universe with all kind of planets and stars and everything would just put life on one planet. And I don't know, unless you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen in the Bible where it said, oh, God only put life on one planet. It doesn't say anything like that I've read. Now, if I'm wrong, call me and let me know. Or, reach out to me and let me know. However you want to do it, I'm okay with it. Real talk. I like real talk. But so I believe that God could have created other life beings on other planets. And so I have no explanation as to the things I've seen over the years, but I know that I've seen things. And at one point, one of my friends, the guy that I was dating at one point, he and I was in a car together, and we were getting out to go do an event, and we both seen something in the sky that particular day that was unexplainable, that was not moving, and that, I had a witness right there with me, so I know it wasn't, I know I'm not the only one seeing things, and there, of course, have been other people who have reported seeing things and taking pictures of things. Sadly, there's so many people that put fake stuff out there that it makes it hard for the people who are credible. But thankfully, again, when you see videos like the military put out there to show that they actually encountered something right by their planes and whatever, and they have footage, then you know that, hey, okay, then something is going on. So what's your opinion? Come on, guys, give me a call. Again, 516-453-9217. I'm also looking for Carmen. Carmen said she wanted to call in. She had a lot she wanted to share. Also, LaShawn, I believe you said you were going to call in. You guys have an opportunity now. Those are two of my sisters. It's kind of interesting because my oldest sister, Carmen, she is pretty much a fun character, but her stories, you know, we're like 11 months apart, and I'm 10 years older than my next sister, 13 years older than my next sister after that. But my sister that we're 11 months apart, we're the only kids for 2 years. So when we were little, you know, we were very, very close. People called us twins. And but she's always been very expressive with her thoughts. So really was looking forward to hearing what she had to say on this show. It would be a classic, believe me, if she gets a chance to call in. But in the meantime, all right, well, I guess you guys want me to share a little bit with you about my experience. OMG. Are you ready? Okay. Now, while I'm talking, you still can call in, and I will stop my conversation and take your call and then go back to what I have to say. Well, guys, let me tell you something. As I said before, I was never afraid of the things that I saw in the sky. I was like okay with it. I'm like, I'm sure there's other beings out there, you know, other life forms, and I'm okay with it. But there was one evening that I was at a point when I was married to my kid's dad, and my sister was actually over, and they were downstairs because I had my basement finished, and, you know, that's where our big TV was, that's where everybody would go. And they were downstairs looking at TV, and I was upstairs in my room. And in this particular room, I had a patio door off of my room where I could go out on a deck. And I remember feeling like something was in my backyard. But I remember being very afraid, and I was like, I'm not going to forget this time. I'm not going to forget this time. And I kept saying that, and just afraid. I was like, hey, leave me alone. Don't bother me. And I felt something come in the room, and I felt paralyzed in my bed, like I couldn't move. It felt like something or some beings or whatever, something was on the left side of my bed, you know, by me. And I remember I kept saying, I'm not going to forget, leave me alone. And I remember a very sharp pain in the back of my neck, and just being very afraid and not able to move. And the next thing I know, when I woke up, or I don't even know, well, when time passed, when I could recognize what's going, you know, where I am right now or whatever, I don't know how to say it. Well, I'll just say when time passed, I noticed that the time on the clock had changed, and I was so afraid. I was scared to cut on the light. I was scared to move, but I did cut on the light, and then I was trying to call my husband, you know, and say, hey, come here, and call my sister, but nobody could hear me because they were downstairs and my bedroom door was closed, and my kids were sleeping at that time. But it was so weird because that was the first time I became afraid. And I was so terrified of the experience that I had and the fact that I felt incredible pain in my head. Now, mind you, in my 20s and throughout the years, I've dealt with severe migraines before and different things going on with my health that doctors couldn't explain. And they would tell me I had plaques in my brain, which you're not supposed to have plaques in your brain. You have plaques in your brain if you have MS or if you have lupus or something like that. You have these things in your brain that make the same pattern, and they know this is the pattern for lupus, or they know this is the pattern for MS or whatever. But the plaques that they saw in my brain didn't fit anything. They knew I shouldn't have plaques, but they didn't know where they came from, or, you know, or what it was. Now, I really think that they did something at the time. It was a red mark on the back of my neck. When I examined myself or had someone look at my neck. And again, I was terrified, really. It was the first time when I realized that I had a fear. So I don't know if I had an encounter and I was to the point where it was blocked for me not to remember, because all I remember I kept saying was, I'm not going to forget this time. So I kid you not, I slept with the light on. I went to my pastor at church. I told them about what happened. I told them I was so terrified. I opened my Bible in my room. I did everything because I was literally so scared. I was not going to bed until my husband got ready to go to bed. And for a long time, I was afraid, you know, and I prayed and prayed and prayed so hard, like, God, please don't let me have any encounters ever again with anything, because I do not want to fear, you know, be afraid like that again. And I don't want anybody bothering me. So I'm not crazy, you know, but I did experience something that I can't explain. And so that's my story I want to share with you. And I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Has anyone else ever experienced something like that? You know, again, I only told a few people about this incident because, like I was speaking to Derek earlier, sometimes when you share certain things, people think that you're crazy or you're making up stuff or you just got a crazy imagination, and they don't take you serious or for real. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything like that unless something happens. And it's definitely not something I wanted to happen to me, because my thing was, when I was seeing all these things over the years, I just thought that it was a friendly, you know, type of life form, if there was other life forms that was associated to the things that I was seeing in the sky. But like I said, when I had that encounter, it gave me, I mean, I was terrified. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that was pretty deep, huh? Well, let me ask you, what did you think about what I shared? You know, again, as I mentioned there, it's kind of hard to share things like that because people really think you're crazy, or they think that you are making things up, or they just don't want to believe you. But let me tell you, I know that my encounter of whatever happened that night was weird and real and scary. Now, but it doesn't mean it's going to be that way for everyone. And hopefully other people have had good encounters if they've had any encounters. And I mean, I hope that you don't ever have any encounters if that's not what you want to do. I didn't want to do that, but it happened. So nevertheless, hey, I'm here and everything's well. And I haven't had anything else like that happen. And that was a long time ago. So I'm thankful that I can smile and say, hey, I'm good. So thank you guys for your comments on, do you believe in UFOs and aliens? And also to my sister Tori. Now, I guess I told you about one of my sisters on the radio show, but I got to tell you about that younger sister of mine too. Now, she is funny because she is the type of person that says when she goes outside at night, even in the day probably, she is not looking up. She does not want to look up in the sky. She doesn't want to see anything. She does not want to have any encounter. She doesn't even want to talk about it. Her biggest fears, and that's going to bring us into what our next show is going to be about. But her biggest fears is clowns. Ooh, she did not want to see it. And aliens. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully she'll call in and talk to us about her fears and why she has those fears. And we can discuss that. But yes, that's our topic for the next week's show. And it is, what are you afraid of? There's so many things that people can be afraid of. And even those big, tough, buff guys, they have some fears as well. So even you big, tough, buff guys, I want to hear from you and find out what your fears are. Because I know some guys that are scared of spiders. I know some guys that are scared of the dark. Okay, maybe not scared of the dark. But I do know some guys who are scared of spiders. Just like me, that's one of my fears, spiders. Everybody already knows. If you've been watching my show, you've heard me say that many times. But so we're going to talk about what is your fear and why are you afraid of what you're afraid of. I'd love to hear that. So that's going to be our next subject. So make sure you tune in next week to hear what people have to say and also to give a comment in your opinion as well. Love you guys so much. And I really appreciate when you guys have fun with me as I keep it real on Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. And I thank you and appreciate each and every one of you. You're awesome. Alrighty. Well, you know, I do want to share a little bit of something else with you too, just on a side note. As I mentioned, I do have 5 beautiful daughters, 2 young men that I call my sons, and I don't know if I mentioned this number to you, but I have now 16 beautiful grandchildren. Just had another granddaughter born on Friday, the 20th. And so we welcome her to the family. And when I say I'm a very proud young grandmother, let's put that in there twice. When I say I'm a very proud grandmother of, 16 grandkids, and they range from newborn, before my daughter who just had my little granddaughter, my other daughter had my little grandson who's 2 months old, and then it just goes up, 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 up. We're not going to talk about how high up it goes, but yeah, 16 beautiful grandkids. So I'm very blessed and thankful for them. And this show is dedicated to you guys because you're my babies and Grandma loves you. Well, hey, I wanted to share something with you guys. I got an email today, and it was from my attorney's office, and they informed me that my attorney, Bob Elsner, had passed away. And he was an elderly guy, but he was a great attorney. He practiced law all the way up until he just passed away. But I want to send this special I just want to send my love out to Bob Elsner and his family today and say I'm very thankful for this man who had a heart of gold. He represented me well when I had a situation where I had to deal with something in a lawsuit, and as well as being supportive of me in other legal situations that I had to attend to, and that I successfully won, thank God. And so I just love him. He was kind of like, I looked at him like an uncle or something, even though we're not related and or anything, of course. But he was just that kind of special person. So thank you, Bob, for all that you did for me and for other people that I referred to you. And again, I send my condolences out to your family and to your law firm. Love you, Bob. Okay, this is my nugget, my golden nugget I want to give to you today. I try to at least do something that would be encouraging, something you can hold on to as you go through life and say, hey, I remember Rhonda on Real Talk with Rhonda Knight had mentioned this, and this is something that she does. One of the things that I want you to practice, and I want you to practice it this week too, okay, you guys promise me? I want you to take any situation that seems negative or a bad situation, and I want you, again, I'm going to say you, I want you to turn that situation around for your good. Because believe it or not, out of every negative, you can find a positive. And guess what? You just have to look a little bit harder for it. But while you're looking for that positive out of the negative, you're certainly going to find it. And it puts all the negativity at the back of your mind. And you'll see a lot of times when we go through things, even when we can't see where it's going to be a blessing for us, it really is, I believe, God opening a door to say, I'm giving you better. I did this for this reason, or this happened because I'm going to bring this positive thing out of it for you. So be encouraged and know that out of every negative, you can find a positive. Alrighty, well, we're coming to the end of the show, and I want to say thank you as always for your support and for being there with me. Again, make sure, and you know, I'm so sad that we always have to say this, guys, but you know how it goes on social media. You have to do these things because it could be someone else's first time looking at Real Talk with Rhonda Knight. So here we go. Make sure you like, follow on Facebook, and make sure you subscribe and like and hit that notification bell on YouTube, okay? Thank you so much. And make sure if you've already done all those things that you share my video. Share it with your friends and your family and the groups that you're in and anyone that you think would have fun. You know, I really hope that this show puts a smile on your face because that's what my goal is. No matter what our subject is, I always want to put a smile on your face and take you to a place of happiness as you spend this time with me. It's usually about a half an hour or so. But I really hope that's what's happening as you guys enjoy my show. So thank you so much, and I will see you on my next show. Have a blessed one.
Yeah. She's a blessed survivor, real talk, an author, Rhonda Knight, and an entrepreneur.